Oh my god, hey. Hello. Welcome to day 3. No, we've done that. Day 4.
Day 4.
Of the Fringe Tour. That's fully emblematic of where we are mentally right now. It's about 9:35. These two have got coffee and donuts. What donut did you get? What donut is this right now?
I got a mango dragon fruit. Pretty good.
That's mango dragon fruit?
Yeah.
Must be tried. Must be tried before we leave. We're all about to walk to the Traverse Theatre, my first Traverse show of the week. But every subsequent day this week, the morning, the first show is going to be at Traverse, and a couple more in the afternoon and evenings. So, lots to enjoy. Traverse is an actual theatre all year round, unlike these other spaces that are turned into theatres. Good morning, Ashley. Vlogception. A reminder that everyone here is a content creator, and you can find everyone's created content. Oh, what is this one?
It's a white chocolate raspberry donut.
White chocolate raspberry.
Yeah.
Lovely. But yes, you can find everyone's content across the internet, on TikTok, on Instagram, and right here on the YouTubes. We're walking to Traverse now. Join us for another day at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2025. We are here in the shadow. Well, not really in the shadow, because it's bright, but we are adjacent to Edinburgh Castle. We're sort of behind it by this coach party, and just a few paces away from the Traverse Theatre, 1 block over and then round the corner. A nice quick walk from our hostel. I have screenshotted all of my QR code tickets for the day. When you get tickets for the Fringe, you get sent QR codes. One of my top tips is to screenshot them in order of your day, which I have not done because I couldn't be bothered. I've screenshotted them out of order.
You can also put them just in your wallet.
Oh, yeah, and the wallet will like
you don't have
pop it
Apple.
up around the time.
I do have a wallet, but I'm a secret technophobe who doesn't get on well with things like that. So I screenshot everything. And then in 1 to 2 years'
If it's in your
time.
wallet, it'll pop up right before the time of the show.
Oh, that's smart.
And that's also how you could find out that you booked for the wrong day.
So the answer here is to listen to them and do what they do.
Yeah, but it's my easiest way.
Or you could do what I do and screenshot everything out of order, and then in 1 to 2 years' time be like, why is there no storage on my phone? And here it is. This is the Traverse Theatre with posterage on the front for their shows as part of their 2025 Traverse Edinburgh Festival programme. Does this count as the Fringe? I mean, it's on all of the Fringe stuff, so I guess it does. The first Traverse show that I'm seeing, I'm not seeing all of them quite, but the first one is this one. The Beautiful Future is Coming by Flora Wilson-Brown, directed by Nancy Medina, artistic director, of course, of the Bristol Old Vic. Gonna go and head inside. Do I regret not getting a donut? Yes. Yes, I do. I do regret that. This is what the Traverse foyer looks like, this little subterranean theatrical paradise down here. We are in the queue, tickets scanned, going in. Seating is unallocated. It's very steep going up the thing, very, very raked. So if you have any kind of a thing with heights, try and get in earlier to sit on the flat floor. There's flat floor and then real steep. And the stairs down the side also real steep. But yeah. Hour-and-a-half show. Content advisory warnings include strobes. That's just for me though, not for you. Also haze. Oh my god, haze. We are here in the space, and you can see what I mean about like raked seating going down, and then a few rows of not raked but flatter at the front. These are also like shared bench seats here, 2 to a bench. And so if you want just like a single seat rather than that, the front row is made up of single seats, and if you want leg room, then this row, the front row of this section, has great leg room down there. All of these choices are available to you if you get in as early as possible, but we have like proper full set designs here as part of Traverse. We also have rain noise sound effect. That is not Storm Florus, that is a soundscape, and this is the set of The Beautiful Future is Coming. First Traverse show done. Heading away from the venue. Discovered that we do in fact have hairdryers in the bathrooms in the hostel. Also my hat today, Oscar at the Crown, another show that I enjoyed previously at the Edinburgh Fringe, and a Mystery of Theatre t-shirt from the Mind Mangler, which I also saw at the Fringe. There you go, I'm so on theme, everybody. And now everyone has split off, fringed off into different directions to go and see different shows. Me, I am heading to the Pleasance Courtyard, hopefully reopened. It is still windy, but it's not apocalyptic. Floris has subsided. Floris has smiled on us, or glanced elsewhere. Incidentally, just saw a play about climate change. The latest in a string of plays about or invoking climate change, including Hot Mess, the musical, including Alone, which I saw yesterday. Lots of climate change content this year. It seems to be a prevailing theme. Last year, I kept seeing shows about grief and death and funerals. This year, it is about climate change, is what we are finding, as it probably ought to be. Anyhow, heading to Pleasance Courtyard to see hashtag Charlottesville, the play that Trump doesn't want you to see. And as I have been saying, I'm not sure which is the Edinburgh Fringe show that Trump does want you to see. If anyone's doing like Les Mis Jr., famously enjoys Les Mis, so perhaps it's that one. And I have a Kilted Donut, stopped by Kilted Donut on the way to get the one that Ben had this morning, because it sounded so interesting. Mango dragon fruit. Ooh! Nearly dropped it on the floor. Mango dragon fruit. It's subtle, but it's there. It's just like a fruity glaze, and you can tell that there's something a little more tropical in that flavour. Good stuff. Oh my god, hey, it is day 4 for me at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe, and my 21st show was one of several I have seen so far about climate change. In The Beautiful Future is Coming at the Traverse Theatre, Flora Wilson-Brown is writing about the climate crisis from 3 different historically separated angles. We switch between these brilliantly written two-hander scenes, meeting women across history, the first being Eunice, a historic female scientist whose findings won't be read or considered by the Royal Society in London. Next we meet a young couple in the modern day, initiating a workplace romance, unaware of the fact that the climate crisis is about to impact them hugely. And finally, about a century in the future, we meet 2 colleagues living in a world already ravaged by the climate crisis. It's a little familiar of Tom Stoppard's Arcadia, if only because of the different time periods happening simultaneously, and the science of it all, admittedly with less thermodynamics. And despite the fantastic scene work, strong performances, good direction, I spent a lot of this play wondering what we were building towards. We do get there by the end, I think, when we eventually arrive at this complex combination of obvious existential despair and also optimistic hope. It's something of a call to action, but more than anything else, it's an examination of the humanity that exists at the centre of the climate catastrophe as it was anticipated, as it is being experienced, and as it presumably will be. If you want to see it for yourself, go and check it out at the Traverse Theatre. Well, that review, for whatever reason, was really difficult to film. Not necessarily to come to the words, but just to make them come out of my mouth. I won't bother you with the footage of me trying to say the same sentence about 37 times, but you'll notice the distance that I travelled, if you're familiar with the streets of Edinburgh in the background, between the start of that 90-second review and the end. We managed to walk a very long way. Anyway, I have now arrived back at the Pleasance Courtyard. It looks to be open today. Floris can't keep us down here at the Fringe, and so I'm going to go and find out where my show is. Is it too early for a cider? I usually say after I've seen one show at the Fringe, I can then have my first cider of the day. It's just after midday, and I'm filled with existential doom because of the climate crisis of it all, so perhaps I'll have a fruity beverage. God. Also, this next one's going to be politically heavy, so we're really firing from all angles today. And the show is actually in one of the bunker spaces, which is not in the main Pleasance Courtyard, but it is in the area where the Pleasance Grand is, entrance to the left-hand side, slightly lower down the hill, which means we walked up more hill than we needed to. How upsetting for us all. I can hear music, but I can't see the people. Oh, I can see the people. Ah, music on the street. I love culture. Are they flying while singing? See, that's fun. Isn't that fun? Anyway, this is the entrance I was talking about. Hard to miss. The Pleasance Grand is in here, as well as the bunker spaces. I'm in bunker 2, I think. Also, one of my favourite poster walls here at the Fringe is this one here. Woohoo! Look at all of these fantastic Fringe shows. So many shows! I'm in the queue and I have been handed a little program free sheet here. There you go, telling us about Priyanka Shetty, who is the playwright / performer, and about #Charlottesville, a new play exploring the 2017 Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville and the rise of white supremacy in America. And this is what the bunker space looks like. There you go.
Charlottesville who have allowed me to tell their story. So this happens to be the 8th year since the events of August 2017, so it feels really a big milestone to share the story on a global stage. And as Heather Harrer, whose mom you met in the play, says, if you're not outraged, you're not paying attention. Thank you for being witnesses to this very important story. Thank you for being here. It really means a lot to me. Thank you.
So my 21st show at the Edinburgh Fringe, #Charlottesville, calls itself The Play That Trump Doesn't Want You to See. And that's because it recalls the events which took place just under 8 years ago this month in Virginia, when the Unite the Right rally took place with devastating consequences. And writer and performer Priyanka Shetty acquaints us with the nature of her thesis immediately in this solo show, which is as much a lesson about the alt-right as it is a condemnation of their actions. And as such, it's something of a hybrid between performance and journalism, and that's where these shows can get a little bit tricky. Because while a personal route into this story can be very effective, you also run the risk of centering yourself. And there's a subplot that runs alongside the trial and a recollection of the events and recreated interviews with witnesses and other local residents, in which we find out about Priyanka's academic mistreatment, which in the way that it's characterized to us feels racially motivated. Unfortunately, there's something of an unnatural quality to the delivery, to the recreation of local accents, as well as body language. While pre-recorded news clips are recreated and performed by Priyanka herself, at one point there is a Trump impression, which if I'm being completely honest, sounds a little bit more like Jennifer Tilly. And occasionally the qualities of authenticity and honesty that become so important to shows and stories like this start to feel a little bit more like arrogance. That being said, this remains obviously a hugely important and impactful piece of theatre that you can see at the Pleasance Courtyard, whether Trump wants you to or not. Okay, so I was gonna get some lunch. I have an hour-and-a-half gap, or I had an hour-and-a-half gap on my schedule, and I was like, hour and a half? I can fit an hour-long show in there somewhere if I can find a 1:45, and there's a really interesting 1:45 show that is happening in exactly the same space that I just left. So I just bought a ticket on the Fringe website. It's actually 2 for 1, but it was only that I only had 5 minutes notice, and so absolutely none of my friends will have time to make it here and join me. So I'm gonna jump back in line, go see a 1:45. I'll get out at 2:45. My next venue is very nearby. That starts at 3 until 3:30. Then I have a 4. I don't know when I'm gonna eat lunch. I'm currently not hungry because I had that donut. I will get hungry. That is the thing. My hair looks cute. This is nice. I just discovered that. Up to date with my reviews. Got my notebook here. Feeling good. I think I just turned this into a 9-show day, but that's fine. That's okay. We're back in the space. Here I am, on the front row this time. And out of that show, which I only didn't film the curtain call of because the audience was lit very brightly and the stage not particularly. Listen, everyone's trying to figure it out. And it's still, broadly speaking, the early days of the festival. Out of that to Zoo. Heading to a zoo venue for the very first time, heading to Zoo Playground to go and see the Great Gummy Bear War, a show that's been here before. I've been aware of it multiple years. I'm finally fitting it into my schedule. I think it's only about a 30-minute performance, and I'm hoping it is because I'm betting on that so that I have time to get to Traverse in about 75 minutes time for the next show there. I'm going to sneeze. No, I sneezed. Schoolboy error there from me as I walked utterly the wrong way. I trusted Google Maps. I looked at my phone because I only had about 10 minutes, and I should have... Florist, why? Ugh. Should have walked over to Assembly Roxy, gone down the stairs. I walked past this venue the other day, and I pointed out in yesterday's vlog post, and I knew where it was. This is Zoo. There's the big sign above my head for Zoo Playground. There's another one. I can see it over there. We are heading towards the Zoo Playground for the gummy bears. I've also not had lunch, so if I get to eat the cast of gummy bears after the show, that would be fantastic.
have another show that is called The Tale of a Potato. It starts at 4 every day. It's object theater but with vegetable. So contemporary theater, and you can please come and see our show and suggest it to other people. Enjoy your Fringe. Thank you so much.
You know, sometimes you see these show listings and you read about the concept and you're waiting for the penny to drop. You're waiting for the allegory, of which there was a little, but by and large, it was just it was just a war. It was just a war perpetrated by gummy bears. And they give you a little, again, once again, try to see if that QR code works for you. They gave me a little, I believe this is edible. Yeah, this is just an individually wrapped gummy bear on the way out, which is good because just like when I watched the Great British Bake Off TV show or the musical based on that same TV show, that makes me hungry for cake. Watching all of those gummy bears did make me hungry for a gummy bear, but I didn't want to eat the performers, so now I can just eat the regular non-actor gummy bears, which is much better. I hope you enjoyed the cinematography of the sort of the solemn pan to the gummy bear battlefield at the end. Oh my gosh. Now there was a miniature show pause in the middle of that 30-minute show, and consequentially it is now 39 minutes past rather than half past, and I have 21 minutes to get to Traverse, which is doable, it's just not particularly comfortable. And in lieu of a healthy lunch, gummy bear. One thing you will find plenty of here at the Edinburgh Fringe is eye-catching show titles, and this one grabbed me with about 5 minutes notice. This was God is Dead and I Killed Him. This is a solo show from musical storyteller Callum Patrick Hughes. He is accompanying himself on guitar, often underscoring the personal stories and anecdotes that he is sharing from his own life, which are seemingly unrelated at first, but begin to tell a bigger story about his relationship to faith, whether that's faith in God and organized religion, something that he came to in his adolescence as a lonely youth searching for community, only to then shed it later in life and experience a sort of a grief alongside that, or faith in something a little more ethereal, whether that's horoscopes or witchcraft or ghosts. Fittingly, there's something more than a little bit magical about Callum himself in the way that he tells a story, in the way that he crafts community in the room, the way that he laughs at his own jokes, easing the tension of the difficult memories that he is sharing and empowering the entire room to be able to withstand more and more emotional weight. He also sings beautifully, but it's really only the occasional musical phrase. I definitely think the ratio of music to storytelling in this could shift a little bit, but I liked the inclusion of Shine Jesus Shine and Gethsemane. And interestingly enough, just when I was searching for some greater sense of connectivity in the show, he invoked the audience and brought our personal stories and even individual audience members into the show. If gig theatre is an increasingly popular form, this is busking's answer to that, and I enjoyed it very much. Go check it out at Pleasance Courtyard. One review down. Do I get on this bus? No, I don't get on this bus. I am not that far. I can make it. I'm approaching our hostel. It's only like 10 minutes from the hostel, less than 10 if I really pace it. There's a pelican crossing here. I'm going to go down the right, I'm going to go up the stairs. I can do this. I think I'm meeting Erin at this show, but I've become very disconnected from everyone else because I've only had like 15-minute breaks in between the shows I've been seeing, so my phone's barely had time in between airplane mode to get any messages. Walking through Grassmarket, don't hand me flyers, do not performance art me, yes that is a verb. I have, it seems, started to develop the inherent sense of haste and panic that deters people from trying to hand me flyers or engage me in conversation. I'm giving off an air of already late and just don't talk to me, basically, which is honestly something I may take away from the Fringe. I have just witnessed the most absurdly brilliant thing, an Edinburgh Fringe show performed with gummy bears. This is a solemn and bloody recollection of the surprising choice of the Gummy Bear Nation to wage war against their neighbours, the dinosaurs, performed wholly in Italian and subtitled throughout, which makes the whole thing even funnier because the delivery of all of these lines, as well as the writing of the lines themselves, is so solemn, so filled with horror and gravitas, and yet what what we're looking at is the puppeteering of gummy bears on this glossy, semi-reflective tabletop surface. It's hysterically funny, all of the descriptions of these individual gummy bear characters, like Dirty White and Raspberry Red and Apple Green. The description of Lemon Yellow, who was as yellow as a lemon and looked to the heavens with his yellow face and felt passion soaring through his yellow heart. Like, this is what we're talking about here. And as hysterical as the whole thing is, as they move them around this table and they create battlefields and they create the illusion of gummy bears running to deliver a declaration of war, somehow they also manage to conjure the pathos of war and invoke a lot of other real-world international crises. And though I never anticipated saying this sentence in my entire life, there is something unexpectedly impactful and powerful about the Great Gummy Bear War, and I urge you to become part of the intimate audience seeing this show at Zoo Playground. It must be seen to be believed. Do you know what? Walking and getting where I need to, I can do. Power walking, I can do. Criticism, I can do. Both at the same time. Walking and reviewing. And I'm not making it any better because this should be my deep breath recovery time, and I'm now telling you about it. Who has no self-preservation? Me, just like the gummy bears. Oh my gosh, those gummy bears. Do you know I'm the only one of the group who is seeing that show? I have no one to talk to about the gummy bears other than the friends who I made in the queue who are from the west coast of the US, who have taken some of my Fringe recommendations, and it was lovely to meet them, and I hope they have a great Fringe. Shout out to everyone who has said hello to me while I've been here. That's happened more times this year than ever before, which has been so amazing, and I hope that I have steered you all in good directions. I hope everyone has a really great Fringe. I'm having a great Fringe. I just saw like a military movie with gummy bears. 3:53 is the exact time on my phone, as I once more round the corner into the Traverse Theatre to see the next show of the day, Standing in the Shadows of Giants, at 4 p.m. I always enjoy these posters. We saw that one this morning. Now I'm seeing that one. Now, having said before multiple times that shows overrun at the Fringe and it happens and it's nobody's fault, a show starting pretty much on time and finishing about 20 minutes after it's scheduled to is slightly rogue because it makes it very difficult to plan around it. Anyway, that aside, we have like 6 minutes to get the rest of the way to Gilded Balloon. Nope, 5 minutes. 5 minutes to get the rest of the way to Gilded Balloon Paterhus for Motorhome Marilyn. Hopefully we still get admitted. Traverse 2, where we just came from, is one of the few venues that will not admit latecomers because of the nature of the space. They just can't. It doesn't really work. Aaron and I have missed shows there before. Hopefully that's not a factor where we're heading, or hopefully they are running a little behind schedule. It happens. So hopefully the timing gods of the Fringe are on our side. We're also probably less than 10 minutes away. 5:30 has just happened, which is when Motorhome Marilyn is scheduled to start at Gilded Balloon. We are less than 5 minutes away, I would say. So it's not a full crisis. Nobody need panic. And as anticipated, only 4 minutes late as we arrive at Gilded Balloon Paterhus for the first time this year. I've missed you, Gilded Balloon. I wish I was seeing you again under less stressful circumstances. Made the show, everybody. Nobody panic. And now heading onwards to Sea Arts. Is that what it's called? Sea
Arts. Well, this is Sea Aquila.
Aquila. For the first time ever?
What?
I've never done a Sea Arts.
No, we've done Sea Arts before.
Have we?
We did kindergarten, that one.
This is why I keep Aaron around. He remembers these things. I feel like I'm showing you a lot of my face and not enough of Edinburgh. So this is us strolling down past the iconic Frankensteins. Ah! The wind is not as aggressive as it has been, or as it was yesterday, but it is cold. It's a cold breeze.
Mile, though, the wind is really strong, so because we're walking towards it, it's going to get busier.
Well, we have that to look forward to. Oh, also it's the time of the tattoo. That's going to prove challenging. You are likely to encounter tattoo traffic a couple hours before it starts, and I mean pedestrian traffic, because so many people, as well as after it finishes, and that is on the Royal Mile, on the sort of western end of it, where the castle entrance is. Strolling the mile for the first time since we arrived, really. We're going to pass the Greenside venue that we visited a couple of times before, heading on up to Sea Arts for falling in love with Mr. Delama. Delamort? Listen, we'll find out. So show 25 was another autobiographical solo show, this time from Lucy Barat. It is called Standing in the Shadows of Giants. The giants in question are her brother, who became a legit rock musician with the band The Libertines, as well as his collaborator, who also lived with them for a time, Pete Doherty. And because of this, Lucy, who is also a performer, a writer, a musician, and an actress, as we discover through her brilliant performance in this play, which she has also written and co-composed the music for, has spent her entire career measuring her success in proportion to his. She almost immediately breaks the fourth wall to let us know that the story she is telling is 96.7% true, and it's one of a lifelong desperation for validation, which ultimately leads her down some very self-destructive pathways. And it's interesting because this is not the first time that I've heard a story like this. Nicola Wren also developed a solo show that I saw a few years ago. She, as the sister of Coldplay's Chris Martin, riffing on a lot of similar ideas about comparative success. This one admittedly ventures to some darker territory. Lucy has lived more of a life and shares that with us unapologetically. I also want to credit the brilliant direction and the writing. This is so smartly worded. I was on multiple occasions struck by a really fantastic turn of phrase, more so than I've been over the past couple of days. And although we're having the same famous brother conversation as in that other show that I mentioned, this one really surpasses that idea by highlighting that Lucy's issue was not only that she had a very successful brother, but also the disparate treatment of young men and young women in the entertainment industry. This show muses on celebrity but goes even further and conveys something really important about humanity. Go and check it out at the Traverse Theatre. I feel like a circus attraction. It's not that interesting. I'm just talking to a camera, but it's quiet now, but there have been so many people walking past, staring, trying to get in the camp. You don't want to be part of this review. It's not that interesting, I promise. I have one more to do, and then I am caught up. I'm just thinking about food at this point, I'll be honest. My next show at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2025 was Motorhome Marilyn at Gilded Balloon Paterhouse. This starring Michelle Collins as Denise, a perhaps washed-up, later-in-life Marilyn Monroe impressionist who, at this point, has almost everything working against her. She is trying to find work in a dwindling industry that has lost interest in Marilyn, although admittedly no one cares about Marilyn Monroe as much as she does, to the extent that not only has she collected a lot of memorabilia from her life, dedicating her entire life to emulating her, but also is slipping her own anecdotes into memories from her past. This in conversation with her pet snake Bobby. She is otherwise pretty much alone in the world. She is also evading police questioning, all of which I think would actually make for a pretty interesting story if it wasn't written in such a one-note and monotonous way. It was hard to ignore the audience members checking their watches and actually leaving the performance halfway through. And this isn't the fault of Michelle Collins, who is doing a great job with this not uninteresting character. It has more to do with a lack of variety in the staging and in the script, and the inherently inorganic nature of the framing device. She is performing these extended monologues about her past to her pet snake, and if she talks to the snake that often, then the snake would know this already. This wouldn't be the first time that these stories had come up. And there are what feel like inconsistencies in characterization. There is this cobbled together tragic backstory, and while her circumstances are clearly meant to feel pretty tragic, the overall performance probably isn't to this extent. If you want to check it out for yourself, you can find Motorhome Marilyn parked at Gilded Balloon Paterhouse. And a silent disco walking tour went past while I was filming that review. I'm now heading back up this little hill that I walked myself down to go and find Erin and Sean for falling in love with Mr. Delma. Have I seen any musicals today? Have I just been seeing like music-inclusive plays? There's been music. People have been singing at me all day, but no out-and-out musicals. So this should be nice. This is the setup here for the tattoo. It takes an awful lot of organisation, and this, I believe, is the entrance to Sea Aquila. Maybe it's here, maybe it's there. I will figure it out. Oh, it's that doorway there. There you go, we found a doorway. We have been given little flyers here for Falling in Love with Mr. Delamort, a musical intrigue. Ooh, I like that title. And I like this postage as well. And what you're hearing is thereminess in this very interesting makeshift theatrical space here. We are leaving Sea Arts and they are going in for the tattoo. Look at that, look at those crowds. One of these days I'm sure that would be very fun to see. Every time I come to the Fringe, I always say, one of these years I'd love to be here for a longer stay, like the entire, we'd never do the entire month because you have a birthday. But last year we came back and did a second week, and there's just like things and opportunities that would be fun to do that aren't possible within like a 7-day schedule. So maybe 1 year we'll stay for longer and we'll do the tattoo. Back we head, back along the same stretch that we came down to get to Sea Arts, and we're going this time to Summerhall. We're going to get food on the way because I don't think there's as many eateries at Summerhall as there have been in Aaron is shaking his head.
There's only one. There used to be 4, there's just one.
Wow. Well, they don't have Roundabout anymore, which was a lot of their traffic. They have a lovely like daytime cafe. If I was doing breakfast or lunch at Summerhall, it's definitely a moment. We're going to see Orpheus with almost everyone from the group because Sean is not joining. Boo, Sean. Sean is weighing his musical options. And I think we're going to get food from Flyer Alley outside George Square maybe, and take that up. Or maybe pop into George Square, maybe I'll get the mac and cheese. A world of options await. So admittedly, I am nearly 30 shows into the 2025 Edinburgh Festival Fringe, and I am in the midst of a 9-show day today specifically. However, that was objectively insane. I just saw the new musical Falling in Love with Mr Delma, and it started on such a fascinating, melodramatic European musical theatre / Frank Wildhorny kind of a note. I was into it, it was gothic, it was romantic. Rob Tripolino was singing the hell out of that score. Objectively, well-written music throughout the thing. They are bringing back the patter song, and I am here for that. They also have a theremin played on stage as part of their orchestration, which is novel and also creepy. It just entirely lost me in the middle. I became baffled because every character we met was insane, which stops being funny and just starts being weird. I had no idea what was going on because he was meant to be this charming figure who we know from the beginning to have ulterior motives, but as soon as the guests who he invited arrive, he suddenly becomes the least charming person. I just think that there's character notes that need to be ironed out, but it's actually quite close to being a compelling piece of theatre. But there are storytelling issues and characterization issues that for a long chunk of the middle of that show kept me from being able to figure out what exactly I was looking at. Don't get me wrong, we circled back to something entertaining and wild and a little bit strange, and I don't hate that for new musicals at the Edinburgh Fringe. And if you want to try and figure out what the hell it is, you can find it at Sea Arts Aquila on the Royal Mile here at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. In fact, we are grabbing food once more in Underbelly, Bristow Square. Aaron's getting a rice bowl, and I'm perusing the other options because I haven't come down here yet. We have the kebab lab, we have fat patties, that's not very nice to Patty, and we have the Naughty Corner Kitchen, salt and chili chicken, chips and more. I mean, that does sound nice. I don't know, I keep having the same kind of things. I keep having fried chicken. Maybe I do want a rice bowl. The side is chips and curry sauce. Tell us about your rice bowl, Aaron.
It's a chicken teriyaki rice bowl.
That's the one I was thinking of getting.
Rice. It's so good.
Oh,
it is so good.
Chicken teriyaki. It does look good.
It's like a go-to.
Okay. I was saying I wanted a fried chicken burger, and then I found this place called Fried Chicken Burgers. So I was like, that's a sign. I got the honey chipotle one. That's a bit of me. And some parmesan fries, truffle parmesan fries, for when we finish the curry fries that I've just been sharing with Aaron. We need fries, we need sustenance. We started seeing theatre at 10 a.m. today, and our last show finishes at 1 a.m. We need to eat. And this is the Meadows, which is the greener way to walk to Summerhall. I was debating with Aaron saying that it was slightly less direct, and it is, but not by much.
Not by much, and it's a nicer walk.
It is the considerably nicer walk. We have yet more postage over there. We have the Circus Hub. It used to be the Underbelly Circus Hub.
It's still Underbelly.
Is it still Underbelly? Oh, it's still Underbelly. There you go. They were also affected by the winds, but now they seem to be thriving once more. It's a nice evening here on the Meadows. It's nice and chill. And we're heading over to Summerhall to go see Orpheus, right in Granger. How exciting! A lot of the stuff that we see at the Fringe, and especially today, is just so uncertain, and you don't know until you arrive. You don't know until sometimes maybe instantly, sometimes about 5 minutes in, whether it's any good or not. So it's a comfort to go and see shows like the one we're going to right now, where you already know the theatre makers, the theatre company and their work, and you have some sense of what it's going to be, and that you're going to have a great time, because we saw Half Man, Half Bull parts 1 and 2 that they did last year, and we're very excited for Orpheus. And after queuing for half an hour because we were so keen as a group, we are all sat together on the front row of Orpheus. There's a guitar in the middle of the space. There are fairy lights. I love this room. There's a bar over yonder. I'm so excited to see this show. They gave out these cool little colour me in colouring cards with details about Wright and Granger and their website and their social media account on the back there. There you go. Okay, let me paint you a picture here. Let's say you're at the Edinburgh Fringe one year. You have this extraordinary, revelatory theatrical experience, seeing a show that is based on Greek mythology, musical storytelling, using original acoustic music and spoken word poetry. And those same theatre makers, those same artists are bringing another show based on a different Greek myth back to the Fringe. And you're a little bit scared that because that first experience was so special, nothing can possibly live up to how singularly memorable and magical it was. And then it does, using completely different theatrical techniques, using a slightly smaller company, but once again curating this incredible audience atmosphere which takes these shows from brilliant and smart and dramaturgically sound musical pieces and utterly transforms them into these moments of community and togetherness. I'm talking about Orpheus from Wright and Granger at Summerhall. This was such a wonderful theatrical experience that there are insufficient superlatives to do it justice, and for what it's worth I also think it's incredibly accessible because this falls somewhere between traditional storytelling and gig theatre. What they do is they extract the humanity from these ancient stories and they tell them in a way that speaks to where the human race is right here, right now. They find the beauty and the heartbreak of it, and they utterly democratise the theatrical experience so that we can share in those painful and powerful emotions as well. It's incredible. Go and check it out while they are briefly here at Summerhall, and go and see everything they do in the future. Go and see everything that Wright and Granger ever do. I mean that. And in something of a tonal shift, we are now all walking down to the Pleasance Grand to go and see Stamptown, which is going to be just a little bit different. We have made it to the Pleasance Courtyard. We're getting ciders before Stamptown. Woo woo woo! Crew crew crew! We have Sean!
I'm getting one too!
Sean's getting a cider!
Back on the hose!
Yeah! We are back in Beyond to see Stamptown, which comes highly recommended, but which, I'm going to be honest, I know nothing about. I don't know what this is. Someone was just roller skating backwards on the stage. I think this is like comedy, maybe variety. It's going till 1 a.m. It's 11:30 now. I've got not enough of this cider left for that kind of time duration. Starlight Express, Starlight Express.
If you've got a stomachache, try easing the pain with some Hispanic whimsy by pronouncing it stomachache.
So I am walking back from the Pleasance Courtyard after 1 o'clock in the morning, which can only mean one thing. I have just had my very first experience of Stamptown. This is an Edinburgh Fringe comedy staple, and this time I was the uninitiated. I have not yet entered the world of Stamptown, late night comedy variety slash lifestyle slash cult. This was not dissimilar to other late night Fringe variety shows featuring acts from around the festival like Reuben Kay's The K-Hole. Only I would characterise this one as significantly more chaotic. They did a lot of really hilarious stuff using sound effects, using character comedy. There were burlesque acts, there were music comedians, there were bits on bits on bits on bits. At one point it just evolved into like a 10-minute hot dog food fight between the audience and the performers on stage. Riotously funny, wildly unpredictable, even to the individuals on stage. Nobody had any idea what was happening next. Every single show is unique, and that's a huge part of why it's such a brilliant experience and why people keep going back. It is not necessarily for the faint of heart, depending on the lineup. It may also not necessarily be for under 18s, but if you are neither of those things, go and check out Stamptown at the Pleasance Courtyard here at the Edinburgh Fringe. I keep having to run away from my friends to film these reviews when we travel as a pack. You're going to hear why. They're slowly approaching. Here they come. The weather may finally have calmed, and yet it is also raining men down here in Cowgate. What sauces now? Popping off over there on a Tuesday night. Just about 1:30. It's 1:30.
It's raining men.
Woo! Woo! It is. Ow! I just pulled a muscle in my back by breathing.
Oh, God.
I didn't move or anything.
You've been laughing too much.
It's 2 a.m. I have been laughing. It's 2 a.m. It's the end of day 4?
4.
Day 4. I hope you're all still watching these, because I'm still making them. I'll see you tomorrow, same time, earlier, later, who knows, for day 5 at the end. Does anyone want to share favourite show of the day?
Orpheus.
Oh,
Orpheus.
correct. Orpheus, so good.
Orpheus.
So good. So good. Lovely. Well, yeah, from Gummy Bears to whatever Stamptown just was. It's been a day. I'll see you tomorrow for more of the same, or very possibly something completely different. For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey. Thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!